If I stall my race car on the track, then I'm cooked.
You just shut off?
And that's because the onboard battery isn't powerful enough to turn the car back on. So today we're going to change that. I removed the battery from the battery compartment, which falls directly below the steering wheel. Same process to remove this battery as in a road car. However, here's where it gets fun. I got a new battery which is way more powerful, but it's also slightly larger, which means we have some work cut out ahead of us. So I took out the seat for more working room and then drilled the rivets out that are holding the bracket down so we can move it back about 1 inch. I then sanded down the surface and used the new battery as a template to drill the new holes, and then I used some rivets to re-rivet the bracket to the floor of the car. Once the bracket was repositioned, it was time to put the new battery in, which was about twice as powerful as the old battery, at over 1000 cranking amps compared to the previous 400 cranking amps. So it should be more than enough to crank the car a few times if it were to turn off. I then ran into my next problem with the strap being too short, so I drilled out the rivets again, holding the buckle to the strap, and then bought some new sheet metal so that I can create a slightly longer strap. I used a Dremel cutting disc for the cutting and then a sanding disc to smooth out the edges. From here, I marked where to drill the holes, then drilled them, and then I used a rivet gun to re-rivet the buckle to the bracket. At this point, I did a lot of test fitting and cutting to get it to the perfect length, but I eventually got it dialed in perfectly and was able to securely install the new battery. So now we have more than enough power for the onboard and enough to start the car in the case of an emergency.